Hello, dear learners. How are you? I hope you all are safe and fine at your places. And I must understood that your learning process during this lockdown situation, during this COVID situation, is definitely going on well. Today, this is the 11th part of our chapter 5, that is our children's and women's in sports. As we all know, we had done all the things in this chapter, children's and women in sports. Now, which task is remaining? Now, what to do? So, this is the practical session for the chapter number 5, so that the learning process, the learning outcomes that allows should be matched, and the learning process could be understood properly, right? So, let's take the steps to understand properly, right? Now, what we needed to do, we need to first focus here on what things, which kind of things. We basically needed to focus on our basic concepts. Like, as you all know, this chapter begins with motor development. This development, which development? Motor development, right? So, basically, when we think about motor development, what is motor development? Motor development is a smooth and coordinated development of bones and muscles. What is motor development? Motor development is the development of bones and muscles. See, let's suppose if I'm taking my hands up, it is also motor development. If I am doing this clockwise or anti-clockwise wrist rotation, what is this? This is my fine motor development. So basically, motor development is based on the development of big muscles, small muscles, and development of bones too, right? So basically, when we think about this motor development, it is of basically two types. What are the types of this motor development? Motor development means, basically, the first thing that we need to understand here is gross motor development and fine motor development, right? So there are two types of motor development. First is gross motor development and second is fine motor development. Let's have a talk on gross motor development. As you all know, gross motor development is a kind of development in which is basically concerned with the big muscles, because the word gross means big. Got it? So, gross motor development is related to the development of large muscles and bones. Example, when you sit, when you stand, when you run, these all muscles and bones are engaged in gross motor development. It means development of large muscles and bones. Next, if we talk about fine motor development, what is this fine motor development? Fine, it means we are talking on small. The meaning of fine, it means something which is very small, some fine work. So fine motor development is that development which involves the development of small bones and muscles. I think this part is clear. Now the topic come is, what are the factors which affecting the fine motor development or the gross motor development, or basically what is the motor development? Age. So development depends on age, development depends on nutrition, the diet which you are taking. Development depends on the environmental factor, psychological feedback, how rest and relaxation you are taking. It's depend on the multi activities that you are doing. What are the various kinds of exercise, what are various kind of activities you are doing. Got it? The upcoming topic is exercise guidelines for different stage of growth and development. As you all know that we had started this topic so long back, and the topic was basically based on what? The first is babyhood growth and development. And the time duration for the babyhood growth and development, it is from birth to 1 year. Now, what is the basic thing to understand here? That when a baby born till 1 year, what are the various parts, what are the various changes comes in her body or his body. So on that time, only the gross motor development taken place. The baby should provide a clean, hygienic, and mother should feed him or her. Will be most effective and very good for that particular kiddo. Next thing that we come is infancy growth and development. This infancy growth and development is basically from 1 to 2 year. This is the age when the child started to bending, crawling, stepping, various exercises being performed by the kid. So it is the time when a playful environment, a mother, a caretaker should be there with him. Next, if we talk about the early childhood growth and development, which is of 2 to 6 year. So early childhood growth and development, which is of 2 to 6 year, this is the time when the playful environment should be given to the student. Exercise like various kind of recreational activities, some skill based games, friendship, some moral social values should be inculcated in the children's, so that their the nirman can be made in the students. If we talk about the later childhood growth and development, which is from 7 to 12 years, which years? 7 to 12 years. As you all know that when the children come in from 7 to 12 years, it is very important to play a game. So it's a time when he or she choose a particular game, and he or she will definitely understand the skills of the game too. Got? So later childhood growth and development is basically lead an individual to have a startup of various kind of activities in the life along with the games. Got it, students? Next thing is that we need to talk about the last exercise guidelines for growth and development, which is adolescence growth and development. And when we talk about adolescence growth and development, adolescence growth and development is very delicate part. It's a delicate stage when an individual enhance their potential, when an individual learn to live happily and able to, because see that period is adolescence period, lot of hormonal changes are there, so it's a delicate period, and one a parent or a teacher or someone who he or she will have to do a lot of multi activities, and the energy should be channelized in such a way that the kid can do something, right? Emotional management, physical development, social development, mental development, this all four factors should be done properly, right? So what we need to understand is that all stages of growth and development should be proper, right? And basically what we understand here is that one should go for a wonderful kind of physical exercise on the regular basis. One should make this sports the integral part of our life. Then and then we can prosper, and definitely we can lead a healthier and happier life. Okay, now let's talk about posture. So before I'm gonna start, I would like to sit in Padmasana. What is Padmasana? Padmasana, we simply called it lotus pose. Which pose? We simply called it lotus pose. Why I am gonna sit in this position? What is the benefit? While teaching, I am sitting in this position. When we sit in Padmasana, the spine becomes straight. This muscles, the leg muscles strengthen, right? Stop for a while. So when I'm talking about this Padmasana, why we are sitting in this posture? This position leads my spine to be straight. So basically now the point come is posture. What is posture? Posture is a specific body position. Posture may be static, posture may be dynamic. Static means what? जब हमारा posture static होगा, यानी कि when the posture is at single place. Static मतलब कोई भी body rest में है, जब हम किसी एक जगह पे, when the body is in a rest, it means it is a static position. Like हम बैठे हुए हैं, that is a static position. When I am running, उस टाइम मेरा पोजीशन कुछ और होगा, मैं चल रहा हूँ, मेरा पोजीशन कुछ और होगा. So posture is a specific body position. Its posture is a soundness of physiological system of the body, right? Posture, when we sit or when we stand or when we run, there is some parameters need to be followed. Whenever a person sit, either on a chair or on the floor, the spine should always be straight, right? Next thing that we need to understand, when a person stand, so there should be the distance of 4 to 6 inches, right? So we were talking about the correct standing posture. The correct standing posture is just, you can see the children who is standing. These children, you can see the feet. There should be 5 to 6 inches of gap when you stand. And the position in which this children standing right now is a commando pose. So whenever you stand, your chest up, shoulders up, eyes up, chin up. So this is the perfect position in which a student or any individual stand. Correct standing posture, right? Let's understand the meaning and the advantages of correct walking posture and correct sitting posture.
Yes.
So dear children, we understand that what is the correct standing posture. Now what we need to understand? We need to understand how to sit, how to walk and how to run. When you stand, the correct standing posture, there should be 4 to 6 inches of distance between the feet. Your shoulders should be up, your chest up and chin up. This posture we call a commando pose. Now if we talk about running or walking, what is walking? Walking is a heel to toe action. What is walking? Walking is a heel to toe action, right? And one should always run heel to toe, on heels to toe, then heels to toe. Not doing no kind of an people just scrabbing this. They just make the friction over the surface and just move, which is totally wrong. So basically, when we talk about a kind of thing that is called the running or walking. So let's talk about walking, right? Walking is heel to toe action, and the second thing is running. So running is only what? Running is toe action. It means whenever an individual run, so the action should be only what? The action should only be toe action. Running could only done on toes. Got it?
Yes.
So my dear students, now what we are going to learn, we are going to learn what are the various kinds of things that we need to keep in mind. The very first thing, what are the advantages of correct posture? If you sit in correct posture, what will happen? So when we stand, when we sit, when we lie in a correct posture, the body get a natural shape. Our bones should be in the natural shape, right? So whenever we stand in a correct posture, our body will be in a correct shape. Second most thing, when we stand in a correct posture, the internal organs will work properly. Now how this internal organs will work properly? This internal organs will work properly in the sense like the digestive system will work properly, like the next thing that is the respiratory system will work properly. Another thing that is the excretory system, the reproductive system, hormonal secretion, these all things will be good. So we need to understand that there are a lot of benefits of correct posture. Correct posture not only lead you to live a healthy life, but yes, it will give less pain over joints. Next thing if I tell you is about the physiological balance. What is the physiological balance? So when I'm talking about the physiological balance, it means there will be great strength, speed, endurance, flexibility and speed in your body. Let's talk on the mental ability or psychological balance. If your posture is good, there will be a psychological balance in your body, right? How the psychological body the psychological term mental ability is related with a good posture. If your posture is good, your spine is straight and the neuromuscular system will be fine. If the neuromuscular system is fine, definitely there will be a great coordination between your brain and your spinal cord. That is what we call coordination, control and coordination of the spine and brain, right? So about this, if the neuromuscular system is fine, it means definitely your mental temperament will be cool. Definitely your mental status will be good and you feel fine, and hope you feel understand. Okay, so now we need to understand what are the causes of the bad posture. See, bad posture, the very first cause is when a child is having overweight. So obesity nowadays a very important thing to understand, because obesity lead many health related problems, and just because of obesity the children become obese, the child become having various kind of problem, even the premature aging too. So for the cause of bad posture, obesity is one of the thing. Second is accident. Sometimes just because of accident it may occur that the person get a kind of deformity and there is a postural deformity in that case. Sometimes due to war. If we talk about the lack of nutrition or a lack of nutrients, right? So sometimes due to the deficiency of nutrients like pellagra, like kwashiorkor, various kind of disease can also occur and lead to various postural deformities also. Like when the lack of calcium is there may be rickets. Like when there's a lack of vitamin D, knock-knee occurs, scoliosis occur, right? So basically what we need to understand, when there is a psychological disturbance, when there is a psychological stress to a person, then there may be problem. Like see, when an individual having a psychological stress, so his shoulder will be down and he'll be feeling less. It means in kind of some sensation going on, some thought process going on in the mind which demotivate him or her. That is where we need to understand if an individual go for the different yogic asanas, various pranayams, shuddhi kriyas, definitely the mental temperament can be good, right? So now let's talk on the various postural deformities. This is the revision session, right? So when we talk about knock-knee, what is knock-knee? When both the knees strike each other, right? So knock-knee is that situation when both the knees strike each other and there is a wide gap between both the knees. Got it? So when we talk about knock-knee is so simple when both the knees strike each other, right? As you can see, this student, he do not have knock-knees, but he is trying to show that what knock-knee is exactly, right? I want him to be stand normal position, right? So as you can see, this is the normal articulation of joint, right? So he is totally fine, normal kid, there is no problem with him. Now we are going to start what are the asanas you can perform to avoid knock-knees, as this is a practical session, right? And the learning can be make good through this. These questions, all the things that now we are going to start is of 3 marks, right, in board examinations. So go through it properly. First is Vrikshasana. Start. Yes. When an individual stand in this posture, it is a balancing on one foot while another leg is flexed resting on another leg. Hands are kept in front or hands are kept above the shoulder. This is the position when both the knees having a kind of pressure comes that the knees strike when this knee was striking each other. So when an individual perform this asana, definitely this postural deformity called knock-knee can be cured. Next asana, that is Padmasana, right? Padmasana is also helps to cure what? It helps to cure our knock-knees, right? So if someone who is having knock-knee, this can be cured by if you perform these asanas. Now the question comes, what is asana? So asanas are the slow stretching activities. What is asanas? Asanas are the slow stretching activities in which we need to stand in some exercise and sometimes we need to maintain balance, right? So right now let's start performing Padmasana. So first, when we start Padmasana, our leg should be straight. Now one by one you bring your one leg to your stomach region, yes, with the help of your hand. Now just stretch it. Okay, now what you need to do, you need to bring your another leg in a crossword position. Perfect. Now your spine should be straight. Relax. Okay, it means your shoulder also should be straight. Your elbow should be bent if you can. Your eyes should be closed. When the individual is sitting in this posture called Padmasana, Padmasana is also called lotus pose. Okay, if I'm saying Padmasana is also called lotus pose, definitely there may be some reason, because it may ask in a MCQ that Padmasana is also called dash. So what we call to Padmasana? The another name of Padmasana is lotus pose. Which pose? Lotus pose. Now see, we are gonna do the another exercise, and this exercise will be help us to overcome the next deformity called bow legs. So let's begin with that. The another postural deformity called bow leg. Now what is bow leg? So first I want these children to show me what is bow leg, right? So bow leg, there is a wide distance between both the legs. There is a wide distance, right? So as you can see, as these children are normal, there is no postural deformity to them. They are just trying to show what is bow leg. As you can see, in bow leg there is a wide distance between the legs, right? Now I want them to stand in a normal position. As you can see, these students are normal. Otherwise, when an individual who is having bow legs while standing normal, it seems that the postural deformity is there or not. So what is bow leg exactly? As you all know that as we had studied already, so bow leg is a defect of legs when the legs bend outward, the space between the knees is widen up, legs take a curve shape. Which shape the legs take? The legs takes the curve shape. These lead to pressure over the lateral edges of the feet. As you all know that all the kinds of bones related deformity has various causes like causes of vitamin D, lack of vitamins like lack of vitamin D, lack of calcium in the body, wrong postural habits. These are some reasons like defaulty food wears, obesity. These are some causes or which lead to obesity or which lead to bow legs, right? So now we need to do the corrective measures for it. Very first asana that we should perform is Ardha Chakra Asana, right? So this Ardha Chakra Asana that we are going to perform is called lateral wheel pose, right? So it's lateral, it means we need to do it by side. First thing, your feet should be closer. Second, raise your hand up. Try to touch it with your ear. Now slowly, gently bend sideward. Slowly, gently, as much you can only. Don't perform faulty actions or stressful actions which may create stress on your body. Hold it for some time. Come back. Drop your hand down slowly, gently. Now the same exercise we'll have to do with the another hand. Let's do with the another hand. Twist to the another side. Go bend. Hold. Come back. Drop down your hand. Put it down. Relax. Right? So this is also, this asana is very effective if you would like to overcome this bow legs. Now next thing that we are going to do is Garudasana, right? Which asana? Garudasana. The next asana to cure bow legs is Garudasana. In this, body balance over one leg while other leg is rolled over the other leg. Hands are rolled in front of face. When we perform this asana, definitely this asana will help to cure bow legs. So let's start performing Garudasana. Start. Slowly, gently balance your body first. Now you can roll your hands in front of your face and hold it. We don't want to see your face because in this posture we don't see your face. It means face is not visible in this posture. Hold it for some time. Relax. Relax. Now we perform this asana with the another leg. Start. Slowly, gently. Because asanas are the slow stretching activities. So we need to perform it slowly and gently. Stop. Now we are going to learn about kyphosis. See, kyphosis and round shoulder. These are two defects of shoulder. And see what is the difference between kyphosis and round shoulder. Round shoulder is simple when the shoulders become round. And kyphosis is the problem when there is a hump at the back. Okay. So whenever there is a hump at the back, it means there is a abnormal curvature of spine in front. It's a postural deformity in the thoracic cage or a cervical spine in front. The causes of this is maybe a convexity of these shoulder muscles, or maybe due to performing wrong exercise, right? Postural deformity called kyphosis may lead some serious issues, like may have some respiratory regarding issues. If we talk about round shoulders, okay, so round shoulder is a postural defect in which shoulders become round and sometimes they are projected forward. It means shoulders are bent forward, the chin is downward and the head bends forward. This gives a sound shape to the body. The causes of round shoulders are carrying overloaded school bag by the children, wearing tight fitted clothes, weak muscles of chest and shoulder, wrong postural habits of reading, writing and sitting. As you can see, you can see this children's when it's sitting in this posture looking so good. Why they are looking so good? Because they are doing asana. They are in the journey of yoga that brings peace in their mind and body. So now we need to know if someone who having round shoulder, which exercise he or she should perform. So let's begin. See, if you perform Padmasana, right now these students are performing Padmasana, okay? So if they are performing Padmasana, their shoulders are up, their chest is up, chin up, eyes up, spine straight, and the leg muscles are relaxing. There is no pressure over the thigh muscles, leg muscles, etc. So this asana, I think, according to me, this asana is definitely help to overcome round shoulders if the chest is straight, right? Now let's perform the next asana. I want the students to stand up. The first asana that we are going to perform is backward bending. All exercise of backward bending are helpful as a corrective measure for kyphosis and round shoulder. Even reverse sit-ups, hold the hands at the back, raising up, sit on the chair, rest at the back, against the wall, or this kind of exercise is definitely helpful. So let's perform the backward bending exercise. Let us start. I request the student to do as much he can only. Don't apply pressure over joints. Relax. So now I'm gonna perform how to go for backward bending, right? First thing is your feet should be closer. Okay. Second thing, your body should be straight. Or if you're not comfortable that your feet is not closer, so you can create a little bit distance between your feet, okay? Because when we perform this backward bending exercise, so there should not be any jerky movement on your spine, because when we perform this backward bending, there is a stress over our backbone, right? Spine. So let's do it gently. Let's raise your hands up, stretch it. Now let's go slowly, gently back. Slowly come. Relax. Now the next exercise to overcome round shoulder is Bhujangasana. Basically, when we perform Bhujangasana, first thing that you need to do is you'll have to be in a pro-lying position. Then you need to raise your upper body while looking up. Both of your heels should be touch each other. Your heels should touch each other. Okay. So now let's begin performing this asana, Bhujangasana. So before we're going to start, I'll just like to tell you that Bhujangasana is also called Cobra pose. Which pose? Cobra pose. So let's begin performing Bhujangasana. Let's start. Keep your both the hands at in the sideward of your back. Raise your body slowly, gently up. Your heels should touch each other. Drop your neck back. This posture called Cobra pose. Hold it for 9 seconds. ड्रॉप योर नेक बैक, अपनी गर्दन को पीछे ले जाइए. ओके, कम बैक slowly, gently. The next exercise which helps to cure round shoulder, it means all the backward bending exercise, right? So now we are gonna perform the next exercise called Ustrasana. It was the last year question that what is another name of Ustrasana. So let it be a surprise when we perform this asana. I would like to ask you which asana is it, or this posture is resembled to what, right? So let's start performing Ustrasana. Start. First, stand on your knees. Stand on your knees straight. Stand on your knees straight. Now stretch your arms up. Stretch your arms up. Go back and hold your knees. Right now, these kiddos are not so much trained because they are football players, right? It needs flexibility. So this posture is called camel pose. Which pose? This posture is called camel pose. Now let's performing the next exercise. Okay, and the next exercise is holding hands at the back. So when we perform this exercise, this is a passive kind of exercise. Why this is passive exercise or a kind of passive flexibility exercise? Because in passive flexibility exercise, partner is needed, right? So let's perform holding hands at the back. So let's get up, let's start. Put your hands back, and now the external partner will help him to stretch the body back. With the help of this round shoulder can be cured. Let's start. Hold, hold, holds for more 10 seconds. Relax. Now we are going to perform the exercise for lordosis. What is lordosis? Lordosis is the problem of lumbar spine. It means tailbone. In this postural deformity, the lumbar spine bends in front beyond the normal level. Lordosis is an abnormal curvature of the spine in front. Lordosis deformity, the body weight shifted backward. Thus, there is a lot of pressure over heels. This problem is also known as hollow back, right? So when we performing this exercise, or if we want to cure this, we need to perform some exercise. And the exercise, like first exercise that we're going to perform is Hal Asana. Which asana? Hal Asana. Let's start performing Hal Asana. Lay down, raise your leg gently, drop it back and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slowly, gently come back. The another asana that we are going to perform which helps to cure lordosis is Karna Pid Asana. Which asana? Karna Pid Asana, and it is a modification of Hal Asana only. So let's performing it. Let's start. In Karna Pid Asana, the knees try to touch the ears. Hold it. Spine, one should try to keep the spine straight. Let's slowly, gently come back. So now I'm gonna perform the next exercise called Trikonasana. And what is scoliosis and how scoliosis can be cured, I'll be telling you now. Scoliosis is a problem when the spine bends sideward, right? So this is when my spine is bent sideward, the posture will look like this. It is sometime due to the uneven leg length, or sometime when people are carrying load on one side. Okay, so how to cure this? If your spine is bending this side, okay, if I having this problem of bending spine this side, so what I'll do, I'll be performing Trikonasana this side. Let's see how to perform Trikonasana. First, your leg should be open, widen. Now first step, you need to stretch your muscles. come up. Now what you need to do, it's so simple. First you take your hand here, your another hand should be straight, not here, not there, only straight. So simple. See you, my knees are straight. So just take your hand here, your another hand here, and relax. Trikonasana, triangular pose. Let's come back. So this is what about scoliosis, right? So all the exercise, like if you have a problem of this scoliosis, you can also go for Ardha Chakrasana. If the problem is this side, so you can go for the alternate side. So what I would just like to tell you is yoga has the solution of everything. If you have a mental problem, if you have a physical problem, any kind of, if you're having an intellectual problem too, each and every kind of problem can be sorted out by yoga. So let's perform yoga, let's make yoga the integral part of our life, and definitely when you do this, all the postural deformities, all the mental conflicts and various kind of problems definitely will be solved. So let's get up, let's make yoga the integral part of your life, let's make sports the integral part of your life, and definitely when you started doing this, your life becomes superb, your life becomes full of joy, thrill and excitement. So with this, we are going to over this session, and I would like to tell you a lot of love and blessings to everyone. We'll meet soon with new session. Thank you so much.